Alright, I have an assignment here. It is a narrative inquiry exercise. The purpose of narrative inquiry is to examine the meaning of participants' experiences as expressed through their story. Meaning is gained through the telling and constructing of the story. This week you will use the narrative data of a classmate's story of coming to Saybrook University to continue his or her education that you collected in week 5. The assignment has 2 parts. Practice retelling the story and describe your interpretation of the meaning of the experience. So I'm a little confused on what I'm actually writing, what experience am I describing? Am I supposed to be describing their experience from their narrative, or my experience of this exercise? I'm going from the perspective that I'm writing up on the experience of this exercise. Now, what I remember from my interview is that this person wanted to be part of transformative reform, some sort of social reform. And I begin the interview with, why did you choose Saybrook? Simply, why did you choose Saybrook? I actually chose Saybrook. I'm in the PhD for Transformative Social Change program, and I chose it because I was searching specifically for a program that was oriented around social change. And there actually aren't very many of those programs out there. And I actually looked at it over probably a couple of years before I applied, just because I'm a counselor right now, and I feel like I wanted to do more, because as a counselor, you're basically addressing damage that has already been done to people, like trauma. And when you do that for a long time, you start to feel like there's so many people who are suffering from this trauma over and over from the same things. And I started thinking, like, why can't we prevent some of it from happening in the first place? But implementing some kind of social change. I had an instructor that I was talking to about, and she made the comparison to a story where people feel like they're falling in the river, and they're pulling them out way down here, and then people eventually said, why are they falling in, and went to try to stop them from falling in to begin with. And I thought that was a really good comparison for why did I choose this PhD program, kind of a branch away from counseling, and to try and do something different in the area of social change. I probably explained that story terribly, but that's the gist of it. Then I followed up with, do you think your counseling degree is going to influence your decisions in the social change program, or are you taking a new approach when you're abandoning your training here and you're learning that you're just focusing on, actually I have to go back to the video transcript. To create effective change, you're going to use some of your experience, and those are going to be issues that you focus on. I think to some degree it's kind of impossible to separate myself from the current set of knowledge there and the skills, so I don't even know if it would be beneficial to do so. So I try to incorporate like some of my knowledge for counseling into social change, but it's like right now what I do is I work with people one-on-one. But when you're looking at working with people as a much larger group, there are some concepts that you can sort out to apply. And then, of course, there's, group dynamics and a lot of information in psychology here. But yeah, I don't think I'm separating completely. I'm definitely using that and being influenced by that in a new direction I'm going in. Were you drawn to any of the faculty here or the research done by the school? I hadn't really any interaction with the faculty. I actually tried to contact them a lot during the years I was looking and couldn't get anybody to call me back, because I think the person who originally emailed me or something, and so I was emailing some inbox person that wasn't there anymore. So no, I didn't know hardly anybody about anybody. However, since I have gotten to know some of the faculty, I really like them, you know. I feel they're different from a lot of the other programs I've been part of, and they're a lot more involved and seem to really care about what each student is doing and like being supportive of them. And yeah, I enjoy the faculty here a lot in comparison to all other good degrees. Was any core philosophy of the school mission statement like for myself? I'm interested in the humanistic approach of psychology. Were any philosophies or spiritual approaches that drew you to Saybrook? Or was it mainly because it was one of the only programs available for what you want to do? To be honest, I don't even remember what I said at this point. I do remember being influenced by it and like feeling that sounds like something that I can get on board with, and I don't even remember what I read at this point. But yeah, I think was more so that there weren't any programs out there that would help me accomplish what I wanted to accomplish. And have they not presented themselves in such a way that I can get on board with, I probably just wouldn't have done it at all. I would have said, okay, there's just not a program appropriate for this. But I think both things were in place, like their philosophy and the fact that they were the only program. Both of those things had to be there for me to choose to go forward with that decision. And was format an issue, like the online hybrid, or did you exclusively look at online schools, or did you look on campus at on-campus schools? I actually only wanted to do online, so that was perfect for me. However, I'm not that impressed. They don't actually have any kind of instruction. It's more like you're just paying a lot of money to teach yourself based on this long list of resources they give you. I don't like that because I have been part of programs where they actually at least give some online like lecture or something where they could interact with the instructors and be able to ask questions and interact as a class on a video call or even watch recording of a lecture. I think I was expecting that they would do more in that area with their online program when I decided I wanted to do an online program, but no such luck so far. But yeah, I pretty much have to do online because I work from home. I have 3 kids. I'm nowhere near California. I have a lot going on in my life. So it just wouldn't be feasible to go in person somewhere, however many times a week. Does the programming you're in have any type of licensing requirements like the program I'm in? They ask, part of the application process, do you know your state licensing requirements? Is this going to fulfill it? Is this going to fill requirements of your state? Is your program applicable to all 50 states? Is it a federal medal? Or you mentioned you're not in California, so is there anything you have to do to make it fit your locality? No, as far as I know, it's not the type of program where you are licensed and transfer of social change. You once complete the program, there's a range of different things you can do with that degree, you know, like leading some kind of nonprofit or doing humanitarian work like UN or Amnesty or something. Probably a lot of directions you could do community work. So it's not the kind of thing we're getting licensed specifically to do one thing. Did you consider law at all, like law school, policy reform? You know, I actually applied for law school a long time ago, and at some point I decided against it and then became a counselor. But I hadn't really considered going like that direction again because I felt it wasn't all encompassing of what I wanted to do. Like, I don't want to practice law per se or be a lawyer. So I think this degree probably still would allow me to work that would be impactful policies and whatnot, but it's not like confined to the area of law specifically. Now, I can change my screen, right? So I try to keep the data as raw as I could.